Hello, Mark Doody here again. And do you know what the problems are when you're trying to film in Indonesia? Look at this. Absolutely flooded everywhere. From flash floods. And this is like 5 minutes of rain, and the rain comes down so hard it just floods everywhere. And because everything's metal roofs here, you can't hear a thing. But anyway, let's get back to it. Andor, episode 3. Okay, I got a mixed bag with this one. Right. There are some parts of it I really enjoyed. There are some parts of it that's just stupid. But again, it's a mixed bag with this one. I'm more interested to find out about the security officer than I am about Andor. Andor, boring. But the security officer and what's going, his little arc, I'm interested in that. So that's the only thing that's keeping me watching every week. So, okay. So we start off with Cassian Andor, the tribes boy. So we start off as that. He's going through the ship, right? He's got his blow gun out, right? And it's like, what's this kid gonna do? What's his intent? And all you see is Mad Andor, and then basically a bit of electric spark goes off and he cacks his pants. So would I at his age going into a structure I've never seen before or know what it is or anything? He's going through. Is a boy on a mission to achieve what? I don't know what his intentions are. He's going around like jabbing the dead bodies, making sure they're dead. He ends up in the control room. He sees his reflection. Like he's never seen his reflection before. You know, you look in water, you have a reflection. But anyway, he sees his reflection in the control panels in the ship. And then he goes, Cassian mad mode. Cassian turn into the Incredible Hulk mode. So he then starts smashing everything up. Then we cut to some men working. And then it cuts to Cassian watching the men working. Don't know. He approaches his boss and says to his boss, right, I've got some money coming in. So I thought, oh, is he paying his debt to him or something? No. He's like, yo, I'm buggering off. I want you then to just, you know, look after Mad Mama for me. And you have a little line where he's like, I'll be back. Like the Terminator. I'll be back. He'll be back. He doesn't know how, he doesn't know when, but he'll be back. Right, okay. You know, this is like the 3rd episode in, and all this mess was started because he was looking for his sister. Right, alright, he's got himself into a bit of shit, like, but there's no mention of his sister whatsoever ever since episode 1. So it's like, okay, moving on. So then it cuts to the bioman, and he says ta-da to the engine man. Moving on. So then mechanic woman, I'm going to call her Weetabix. So Weetabix then sees the buyer, the smuggler man, and then basically they're talking. She's like, yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, you know, there's a bit of a problem. There's a bulletin out looking for him, and they're like, yeah, but they don't know he's Canary. No, it'll be fine.
The bulletin doesn't mention him by name. It says they're looking for someone from Canary.
You know, yeah, everything in this show is just, yeah, it'll be fine. And then we see a little clip of the security forces approaching in their ships. Then it goes to Mad Mama. So this is like jumping from person to person. There's a lot of this where it jumps from person to person back to do. It's a bit choppy, this episode. So then we go into a scene, right? So as we see the ships approaching from the security forces, we then clip to Mad Mama with this black guy from Snatch, and basically they walk in and they see the boy being mad, and they're like, you know, oh, you don't want to be here, boy, you know what I mean? And basically they're like, oh, he doesn't understand us. Of course he don't. He speaks bloody Canary. The useless droid, whose batteries are working today, says, yeah, there's an Imperial frigate on the way, or what? No, it wasn't Imperial, it was the what did he say? What did they call them? The Republic
frigate approaching.
A Republic frigate is coming. So then it cuts to the security forces landing. So they all get off and, you know, they're like, yep, get into position. Are we all in position? And they're like, yeah, we're in position. So then it cuts back to Mad Mama, the black man, the droid. And basically she's like, yo, have you got a stun, what was it? It begins with a D, some knockout serum gun thing.
B, get me the drowser.
So she's like, yeah, the Imperials are coming, and if they come here and they're gonna cleanse the planet, they're gonna kill everybody. So we're gonna kidnap this boy. You know what I mean? We're gonna kidnap this boy, sod the rest of the tribe, sod the rest of the children. We're just gonna take this one boy because he's the only one of significance. So we're gonna take this one boy. We're gonna kidnap him to make sure that he don't get killed. Why not? She's more than happy to let everybody else die, all the other children die. So, you know, fair enough, why not? So we go to Mad Mama's house in present time. Security officers knock on the door, she opens the door, they walk in, we've got a warrant. You know, Mad Mama's like, oh no. And then basically they start searching the place. Then we cut to mechanic woman, Weetabix. So Weetabix walks into a shop and she says to Soy Boy, oi, you ain't moved your crap out the alley. And he's like, sorry love, I'll get on it.
Why is all that stuff still piled up in the alley?
And then it cuts back to Mad Mama's house. And you see what I mean about cuts? Literally they're like 10-second clips. It's like watching one of my videos where I put the clips in. And then basically this is what it's like. It's like 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. We're jumping here, there and everywhere. So we're jumping from present to past. So anyway, you know, they're searching Mad Mama's house. And then they're like, there's another resident here. And they're like, so the security officer man goes storming into the other room and it's the droid. The droid's a resident? Okay, whatever, I'll go with that. We'll just accept that. So, you know, he's like, droid, where's Andor? Then during this time that he's being questioned, the droid, basically Cassian's then on the radio saying, yo, B, where's Mad Mama? Can you hear me? Where's Mad Mama? And the security team's like, track it down. You know, how did they know that that was Cassian? How did they know that? Don't know. It'll be fine. But anyway, you know, how I would have written this, it would have been, you know, something like, B, it's Cassian. Answer. You need to answer. You know, drop his name in so the security forces would twig on straight. I mean, it wouldn't have been hard to have figured out it was Cassian anyway. But, you know, there's no linkage there. They just immediately assumed it's Cassian. And the officer man looks at tactical man and says, you know, track it. Sorry, I'm going to try and stop saying, you know. I'm fed up of saying, you know. You know. Andor, you know, it's boring. Cassian, and the bio walks in. Luther, that's his name, Luther, right? So, he walks in. The buyer's like, yo, how much is it? Does it work? Is it legit? He's like, I ain't plugging it in. If I plug it in, knocks the price down. I ain't doing that. I want all the money I can get. And he's like, how do I know it works? And Cassian's like, I'll give you my word. Han Solo reference again. Why not? They're trying to write Cassian like Han Solo.
I'm giving you my word.
Instead of Han Solo, the smuggling spy, it's it's Cassian Andor, the lovable spy. You know, shit. The officers walk out of Mad Mama's house and they leave 2 guards behind to look after the droid and Mad Mama. The security officers walk outside. They leave 2 officers to look after Mad Mama and the droid. And there's a boy outside watching the security forces coming out and he's like, ooh, I need to go and tell someone. A different guy, I'm assuming it's the boy's father, because you see him in a couple clips later where basically, you know, he's telling him to bash on the things. But anyway, so the boy's father runs into Weetabix and says, look, Weetabix, there's security at Mad Mama's house. And she's like, oh no, Cassian, but who would have told him about Cassian? Soy Boy glances over, he gives a little strut as he comes over, and basically he's like, you know, it was me. And she was like, why did you do that? Well, he's a jealous soy boy. Why wouldn't he have done that? She's like, did I tell you where he was from and all this? So basically, you know, she's like, oh, I don't remember, says the soy boy. And Weetabix is like, I do remember. I remember.
I do. I remember.
God, I can't wait for the scene later on. The boys then asking him, well, how did you get it? You know what I mean? Bearing in mind, this entire meeting was set up because Luther wanted to meet Cassian Andor, because he knows all about Cassian Andor. But there's one big flaw in the writing they've done with this, and basically the only reason he was interested was because he had this NS9 unit, and there's been no interaction between Andor and Luther. It was all between Weetabix and Luther, right? And basically, with this NS9 Star Path unit, basically he's like, I want to meet you, and it was this reason I wanted to meet you. But yet in the previous episodes they said, you know, they wanted to meet him earlier. Why? Don't know. I'm trying not to think about that too much, but it is a flaw in the story. Andor goes on about how fat and lazy and useless the Empire is, and that they're so arrogant in all their dominance. Let's put this into perspective now. Andor being arrogant, saying they're fat and lazy, and I could just walk into their base wearing any old clothes with an engineer's toolkit and everything's fine. I can steal whatever I want. Has he done it before other than this NS9 unit? Don't know. Obviously more stuff, because that's, you know, because Luther, the only thing that connects Luther and Andor together is this NS9 unit. And this is the reason why he wanted to meet him, but he wanted to meet him anyway, even though he didn't do anything. How did he know he's a super duper useful person? Don't know. After he says the Empire's arrogant and has his rant, and basically in their own arrogance saying, you know, how arrogant the Empire is, even though they're being arrogant, we then go to a scene where everybody, you know, starts clamming on metal as a warning or a signal or something. And everyone starts bashing on their pots and pans. So as security forces are walking through, they basically turn around and is like, the officer says to the tactical officer, man, and he was like, yo, why are they doing that? And he was like, don't worry about it, they're just bluffing, it's just a bit of bluster. Be fine. Why not? It'll be fine.
Bluff and bluster.
Then we go back to Cassian and Luther. So far this episode's not exactly great, but it gets better. But it then cuts back to them, they're chitty-chatting about the Empire, and we've got, you know, he's looking for people, and he's basically saying, I want you to join me, basically, without, in not so many words, saying, I can use you, Andor, you're a useful spanner, I can use you in my toolkit. It then cuts to Weetabix running through the city, through the town, whatever it is. Bearing in mind, there's a lot of people running around, but for some reason, for plot reasons only, they grabbed Weetabix and said, you're not running home.
Not running home, are we?
You're staying with me. So it's either A, we needed this to move the plot because we've got a bit of a plot coming and we need her to be caught. B, the guy is a bit rapey. Anyway, so Luther and Andor are saying, oh, how are we going to escape? You know what I mean? My man's like, well, you know, I can blow the doors off. The rest is up to you. And he's like, yeah, we'll you know, we're going to take the M24. We're going to go up the motorway. We're going to take a left turn. We're going to turn right. We're going to activate the sat-nav and go around and go the long way. So you get like a stupid explanation as to where they're going. He blows the doors off. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. So then something actually happens in this show. There's a bit of a battle. The battle looks good. It looks okay. Problem is, we know Luther ain't gonna die. We know Cassian Andor ain't gonna die. There's no stakes in it. When you make a story of a prequel about a prequel of a man who dies, you know he ain't gonna die. Okay. So then Weetabix tries to run away. And basically the cop man then does a bit of police brutality. We've got to put in modern politics into this, so why not?
Told you to wait there.
And then Soy Boy's walking down the stairs, he's seen it. No, not my lady.
What have you done to her?
You can't touch my lady. I'm a soy boy. Wow, wow, wow.
She's bleeding.
So he charges at the guards. Why would you charge at the guards that are fully armed?
Who did this?
And they're in control. But Soy Boy mad. And Soy Boy gets shot and killed. Thank God for that. So you ain't gotta worry about him anymore. Jesus. So the leader of this squad then turns to the man who shot Soy Boy and says, give me a weapon. Right. Give me a weapon, go back to the ship, and turn the radio on. Okay. Again, is this a plot story to move the story along? But don't forget, earlier in the scenes, if you watched it, it would tell you that, you know, we're leaving the two guards behind to look after to Mad Mama and the robot because it's a bit dangerous. So they send an unarmed guard in a dangerous environment back to the ship. Of course you do. See, there are some bad plot points on this, and there's some good ones. It's a mixed bag, what can I say? So, they basically cuff Weetabix to the wall and leave. Why? Don't know. Maybe it's to keep Weetabix out of the danger. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, plot story. Basically, the only reason she got caught was because they needed Weetabix to be caught so they could shoot Soy Boy and get rid of Soy Boy. That's it. That's the plot. That's how we get rid of Soy Boy. Job done. We cut back to the security team, the main security team with Tactical Man and Security Man. And basically it's like, right, we're going to hunker here. We're going to split into two groups, left flank, right flank. We're going to, you know, kill them when they get here. They're there to arrest them, but there's no intention of arresting them. They're just there to kill them. Okay, not exactly answering for their crimes, but, you know. Okay. And then basically, security officer man, the main man, basically enters into this house. He's shitting bricks, you can tell that. Two little aliens run past. He shoots, you know, a bit trigger happy. You can tell he's cacking his pants. He's never been in that situation before. Neither have I. I probably cacked my pants. But there you go. Mad Mama's house, where the two guards are there, looking after Mad Mama and the robot. Don't worry, the robot will be out of charge. You ain't got to worry about him. And basically, you know, they're all nervous because they're all hitting their pots and pans. And Mad Mama's like, you know, it's a bit scary, isn't it? Waffles on a bit of a speech about, you know, them hitting pots and pans and says, oh, you got to be worried when they stop. You got to be worried. These are trained security guards, trained officers that have been in situations like this before. So why not wouldn't they be cacking their pants? Anyway, the noise then stops. So then it goes back to the officer again. He's cacking pants and sealing the door so he's got like an eye window to look out of, but he's still cacking his pants. And it goes back to Mad Mama's house where the two security guards looking after Mad Mama, for some reason, they decide to leave. Did anyone calm them to say, get out of the house? Did they say, right, come and reinforce us down here? No, none of that. They just run away. Why? Don't know. Where did they go? Don't know. Then they cut back to the security man and Cassian's behind him with his gun on, pointing it at him. Luthor's like, kill him, kill him. Cassian had any sense, you know, Or Luther, I thought Luther would have had more sense and be like, you know, let's get some info. How many are you? So Andor, the only one with any common sense in this, decides to then ask him, how many people are you? And he's like, yo, 12. No, 14. Anyway, waffles on a bit, cacking his pants. Oh, he drops his gun and smashes his comm. And then basically he does a weird scene where he pulls him back. He's like, ooh. So he's shooting bricks. So the geezer that they sent back to the ship with no weapon during a bit of a conflict going on, as you would, ends back to the ship. He takes off, just straight up. There's a chain attached to it onto like some scrap or a scrap ship. And the guy's still trying to go up higher and higher. You can feel something's on the ship. He didn't think to himself, oh, I'm tagged onto the ship here. I best land and sort it out. No, we're just gonna continue to fly into orbit, and basically then the chain gets snagged and swings him into, I don't know whether it's a building or what. He ends up blowing up. Cuts back to tactical officer man. We're under siege.
We're under siege. They're everywhere.
Okay, so he's like, you know, could that be them? And they're basically like, yo, they came from behind us. They're coming from in front of us. So I don't think so. So yeah, under siege apparently. So then he cuts to a guard and searching around. Don't know why he's searching around specifically, but he finds the main officer man tied up. He releases him and he's like, look, they're in that speeder. And they drive past in the speeder. There's a bit of a shoot up. They blow the speeder up. They approach the speeder. And then Cassian and Luffy on the speeder bike speeds past. And then they detonate the explosives. So we had some spare explosives from the door and put them onto the car and used it as a car bomb. As you do, because this guy's got loads of bombs apparently. Then you go for like quite a gripping scene where, you know, the why do I keep saying, you know, I do apologise. I'll try and stop saying it so often. But then you cut to the officer man who's looking around. He's like, shit. You can understand what's going through his mind. You're kind of thinking, yeah, you've ballsed up here, ain't you, pal? So he's led on a mission he's not supposed to have done. He's got no clearance to do so. He's gone on a mission. He's got several people killed, several more colleagues dead while he's trying to do a murder investigation. But on the bright side, he's uncovered a bit of, he's slowly building a network of basically uncovering what's going on. Tactical officer's man is ringing the dropship people saying, yo, we need pickup now. Even though they came on ships, 3 ships. What happened to these 3 ships? Well, one crashed, you've got another 2, but he's then begging for pickup. Why? You landed, you've got 2 ships left. You've still got men left, unless your pilots are dead. Go to the ship, send a couple of you to the ship, there's still a few of you alive, so send a small team to the ship, armed this time, get a ship, fly to them, pick them up, fly to the other ship, drop a guy off to jump into that ship, and then both fly off. Problem solved. It's Disney. Don't think about it, Mark. Honestly, don't think about it. Gets unchained by a couple of people, and she's like, my soy boy. And they're like, just leave him. She's like, yeah, fine. And leaves soy boy. She couldn't have liked him that much if she'd left him dead on the floor. So the security guards basically clamoring on the phone saying let's retreat. Cassian and Cassian and Luffy leave, and there's like montages of basically the time when he was a boy leaving Mad Mama and the guy from Snatch, and basically when he was a boy and to him leaving now with Luffy, and there's like montages of past and present of basically previous situations and current situations. What did I think of the episode? It wasn't boring as much. The fight scenes were good, but again, I kept on thinking, you having fight scenes between Cassian and Luther, right? With them guys. And the security forces, maybe they'll die. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, will this officer die? Don't know. But anyway, there's a fight between these guys. You know, for a fact, Andor ain't gonna die. We know how he dies. We've seen it. Again, Luther, we've seen him. We know he ain't gonna die. So why do you keep putting characters like Obi-Wan, Andor, Leia? Why are we putting these people in prequels and putting them in danger? Life-threatening situations when we're all thinking, we know the story. Unless they think when we watch a prequel, we completely forget what happens in the future. There's no kind of suspense to it because we know they ain't gonna die. But it looked good. That's about it. It looked good. So, again, I hope episode 4 is better. Episode 3 is better than 1 and 2. But again, episode 1, 2 and 3, I was right. You should have put it together as 1 hour and a half episode, or however long. Because I think it's about, what, 35 minutes per episode. So you should have made episode 1, 2 and 3 one long episode. And had that as your premiere. Yeah, and be like, yo, watch all this. And the entire 3 episodes would have made sense. But you did release it as 3 separate episodes because the cutting is crap. So you've had to put all 3 episodes together. Alright? So, again, I just want to know about the security team. I'm liking where these are going. I'm enjoying this. For the fact of the security force. So, will episode 4 be any better? Don't know. Do I like this show? And I'm going to be honest. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's okay. I'll watch it. I've watched something. Am I entertained? Partially. Does some of it make sense? No. Is some of it written well? Yes. So, it's ups and downs with this one. I praise it, but at the same time, where it's stupid, I call it out. But anyway, will I watch episode 4? Alright, I'll give it one more try because I'm still undecided. I'm on the fence. I just don't know what to think about this show, really, if I'm honest. So, we'll see for episode 4. So, please join me again for episode 4 if you want to see that. Please support my channel in any way you can. Please like, share and subscribe. Ta-da!